Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. Panasonic GH4's baby brother. How about the new Panasonic Lumix G7? So this heavily talked about camera is now announced. It was just announced yesterday or whenever you're watching this, so just very recently, and it's available already for pre-order. And once again, this is exactly what a lot of people wanted for a better price range, even though that the GH4 is very, very reasonably priced for its 4K capabilities and everything that it provides. But the newest 4/3 sensor by the newest 4/3 camera by Panasonic is the Panasonic Lumix DMC G7. So for $800, this will be available probably within the next couple months. You should be seeing it probably around summer is the mid-release, probably July or something like that. But I want to run down a couple of these specs and just see, if all of this is really interesting and, who's this for, if you should pick it up, or should you just look to the GH4. So really quickly, it's a 16 megapixel MOS sensor. Now you might not have heard about this, and it's nothing really different. It's a lower energy use sensor that 4/3 users like Panasonic, Olympus, and Leica use. Heard about it before. Once again, it's just the type of sensor that they use. Very good processing system. The Venus Engine 9, very, very strong. As I said, it's micro 4/3. 3-inch angled touchscreen, cool. Whatever. That's kind of becoming the common norm now. The OLED viewfinder is going to be very, very integral in regards to using this. If you want to use a viewfinder, if that's the way you want to go. 4K video recording, that's the big thing about this camera. People were hoping that this is what this camera had, and that's why this might be a big seller for Panasonic. So it will give you at full 4K resolution, 30 and 24 frames per second. And let's see, and that's if you want to shoot in MP4 format, you get 100 megabytes per second. So that's very, very good in regards to that. Native ISO 200 to 25,600. Obviously, you're not going to use it that high. Wi-Fi capability, and it has a newer AF performance that they're using. They're using the DFD depth for defocus and contrast focus. So you should get some pretty accurate. Good accuracy with things like this. 8 frames a second. You can get 40 frames per second with electronic shutter, but at that point, that's blah. At that point, whatever. 4K photo modes, which has probably been the biggest thing, pulling stills, pulling stills from things, getting better resolution photos from using, the sensor and everything like that. So that's going to be very, very interesting to look into. Built-in optical stabilizer, but you do get in regards to video, you get your 1080 frames at your 1080p at 60 frames in MP4 or AVC HD. A lot of companies are starting to use that. They're really starting to do that. Sony's a big into the AVC HD, and it's a great, great codec for these cameras. So, so overall, as I said, this will be, $800. You can get it, and it comes with a 14 to 42, 3.5 to 5.6 float kit lens, which essentially is a 28 to 45, a 28 to 84, sorry, on a 3/4 camera. So just taking a look at this thing, because once again, this is brand new. It's got that sleek color, like it's very like industrial, rugged looking. So I don't know, it looks interesting. It looks kind of cool. Let's just keep going, seeing, let's just keep looking around. I like that the screen folds out, that it doesn't fold up, and you couldn't anyway because of the viewfinder and the pop-up flash that it has. Let's take a look at the back. It's very simplistic. I see there's going to be a lot of customizable type things. It does look simplistic, and I like that. I think it looks like it's going to be a well-built camera. And you have what you need. You have your shutter modes, you have your drive modes, whatever mode you want to shoot in, more function, record. I'm guessing that this will be your aperture and this should be your shutter speed, overall something like that, and that's without the lens. So here it is. This is the GH7. As I said, I think both cameras will have with the GH4, I'm saying, will have its use. I think the GH4 is what you should still ultimately strive for. But with something like this, if you want to just kind of get into the game and not go crazy with, necessarily filming and go with all about the lenses, this is a very strong camera. But I don't know, did they hurt the sales of the GH4 with this camera? I think it's smart though, because they're appealing, they're appealing to more than just the pro cinematic type of of consumer. They want to go for the more prosumer type of market, but it's under $1,000. So Panasonic G7, what are your thoughts? You've heard mine a little bit. Please write those down below. This is a very tempting camera to snag for video. You know, just to have in the bag or something like that. I mean, do I need it necessarily? No, because I'm primarily a Nikon shooter. Yeah, all the adapters and everything like that. But you know what? The 4K in this thing looks like it's going to be, you know, it's becoming the norm, but it's going to obviously be one of the strong points in the camera. And this is what a lot of people like. So there it is. There's the preview, the real quick rundown. And, you know, as I said, I think both the G7 and the GH4 have their mark, have their in the field. It's just Panasonic smart, and they made a lower end one. I don't know if that's the case. They made a lower one so that way more people would want to consume it. Smart move, smart business move, Panasonic. Thumbs up to you. You do good stuff. So that's all I got. What are your thoughts? Write those down below. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Panasonic G7 Micro Four Thirds camera.